everybody. Welcome to another director's ranking video. And today I am finally ranking all 10 of David Lynch's films. Yes, finally. I've been promising this for months, but I'm now doing it. So don't you worry. Here it is, my ranking for David Lynch's films. Yes. And those of y'all who don't know, that those of y'all who are new to the channel, because all y'all who do know my channel do probably know that David Lynch is my favorite director. So yeah. Anyways, all 10 of David Lynch's films, from my least favorite to my favorites. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? All right, so number 10 is a pretty obvious choice for number 10. I think most people will probably put this at number 10 on their list. It'll probably be their least favorite. It's Dune. Yeah, I really do not like Dune. And just to be clear, this is the older Dune, not the newer Dune that came out last year. No, that was of course Denis Villeneuve. No, this is the 80s Dune, and yeah, it was directed by David Lynch, but it does not feel like a David Lynch film. And David Lynch himself is apparently ashamed of this film. He doesn't like it, and yeah, I definitely understand, because this movie is not good. It really isn't. It's not good. I know there is a fan base for it. I know some people like it, but I really don't like this movie. It is honestly one of the most boring films I have ever seen. Like, this movie was just so boring. And it's honestly the only David Lynch film that I could truly say is a bad film. Like, even my number 9, I'm not big into it, but I could say is a decent film. This one, though, no. And also I should mention, like, this movie, has Kyle MacLachlan in it, which, most likely from Twin Peaks, and I'll talk about him some more later. But, yeah, he plays the main character, Paul, and I didn't even like his performance in this movie. He was very bland. Like, honestly, I thought Timothée Chalamet did a better performance than him. And it's a shame, because I love Kyle MacLachlan, but I really did not like his performance in Dune. It was just boring. Everybody else's performance was really bland too. Even Sting is in this movie, and all he did was just smile, and I think he had his shirt off in one scene. Also, Patrick Stewart's in this movie, but he doesn't do shit. The only good performance and the best performance, at least in my opinion, was actually the creepy little girl. She was the only one that I thought did a pretty good performance, because she was creepy as fuck. But yeah, but yeah, Dune, it's not a good movie, and it's boring. And if you want to binge David Lynch's films, if you're not familiar with David Lynch, you want to binge his films, I recommend skipping Dune, because it's not good. That's my number 10. Okay, my number 9. My number 9 was the last movie I watched for this ranking. Like, this was the last movie I needed to watch, because I had to finish Twin Peaks season 2. But actually, I didn't get to finish Twin Peaks season 2. I just went ahead and skipped it and watched this, and after instead. So yeah, my number 9 is Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Yeah. Now, if I'm going to be completely honest, and I'm sorry, those of you who are David Lynch fans, I apologize, but this is just my honest opinion. Despite me being a big David Lynch fan, I am not really a big Twin Peaks fan, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, I didn't finish season 2, but I finished season 1, and I think watched most of season 2, and I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Do I think it's a bad show? No, not at all. Like, it's actually pretty good, and there's some moments I like, some characters I like. Like I love Dale Cooper, played by Kyle MacLachlan. I love Audrey too. She's awesome. I have a big crush on her. Unfortunately, she wasn't in the movie though, sadly. But but yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a boring show if I'm going to be honest. And the movie, I kind of like it slightly better than the show, just slightly. It's still kind of boring like the show. Like it's not really that different from the show. You know, it's almost like the show, but what I do like about this movie is that we do get to see Laura Palmer, and this is of course a prequel to Twin Peaks, the show, because Laura Palmer is dead, obviously. Um, but we get to see her whenever she was alive, and we also get to see her death too. So that's pretty cool, and also Cheryl Lee did a good performance as Laura Palmer, so I'll give it that. This movie's okay, it's decent, and I am keeping this Criterion Blu-ray. For one, well, I think the real reason why is because I am still owning. I still own still own Twin Peaks seasons 1 and 2 because I plan to revisit the show sometime in the next few years or so. So I figured I'd keep the movie too. Yeah, the it's okay. It's not bad. Like it's decent, but it's definitely better than Dune. But yeah, that is my number 9, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. All right, number 8. All right, this one I don't own yet, unfortunately. The rest of these I do enjoy. My number 8 though, I've only seen it once, and that's why it's my number 8. But I do like it. That is his last film, Inland Empire. Yeah, it's a good movie, even though it's definitely his most confusing film, and it's really strange. It might be his weirdest film too, but it's definitely his most confusing film. Like, I have no idea what the fuck happens in this movie. Like, if you ask me what the plot is to Inland Empire, I can't tell you. I have no idea what the fucking plot is. But I saw it once, and I thought it was pretty good. Laura Dern is really good in this film, and yeah, I don't really have much to say about it just because I've only seen it once. I just don't know much about it. I will say though, for some reason Terry Crews is in this movie. He's in one scene. I never thought I'd see Terry Crews in a David Lynch film, but yeah. But yeah, Inland Empire. Yeah, that's my number 8. It's good. I just need to rewatch it. But it's number 8. Yeah. All right, number 7. Okay, now this one, some people might get mad at me for putting this low on the list, but I really do like this movie a lot. I just like these others better, mostly because this one doesn't really feel much like a David Lynch film, kind of like Dune, but this one's a lot better than Dune. And a lot of people, like even even people who are not David Lynch fans, would even agree that this is a masterpiece of a film. My number 7 is The Elephant Man. Yeah. Yeah, I just have it low just because it doesn't feel like I said, it doesn't feel like a David Lynch film, but it's still a very good film. It's still I would probably agree it is a masterpiece, most likely. Like, I think I liked it a little bit less whenever I was rewatching this for the ranking, but I still enjoy it. Like, it's pretty good, and for like a movie that's really slow, it's not really that boring. So, yeah, that's good. Because I have a really bad attention span, and most slow movies I find really boring. That's why I'm not a fan of The Godfather, for example. Yeah, I know, but and Citizen Kane. But anyways, but yeah, no, I really do like The Elephant Man. It has it has 2 great performances by John Hurt and Anthony Hopkins, both great. John Hurt especially, he plays the guy. He plays John Merrick. Actually, his real name is Joseph Merrick. This is based on a true story, by the way. It's It takes place in the late 1800s, and it was about this guy named Joseph Merrick who was deformed, and Anthony Hopkins' character, helps him try to become, feel more human and stuff. It helps him make friends and stuff. And yeah, it's a very good film. And yeah, John Hurt is amazing in this movie, and even his makeup, like wow, good job on the makeup team. I think I could be wrong, but I know it was nominated, but I think if it wasn't, it definitely should have won. But it might have won Best Makeup for the Academy Awards. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I know it was nominated. It says nominated for 8 Academy Awards. I don't know what all was nominated for. I'm trying to see if it says. No, it doesn't say, but it might have been nominated for Best Picture. I can't remember, but yeah, really good movie. I just again have it low because it doesn't feel much like a David Lynch movie. I just like these better because they're more, you know, they're more like Lynch films. Actually, I do have another movie coming up that doesn't really feel like a Lynch film either, but I happen to really like it a lot. But yeah, my number 7 is The Elephant Man. Still good film though. Okay, my number 6. All right, my number 6. This is another like really confusing and weird David Lynch film. I happen to like this better than Inland Empire. That is Lost Highway. Yeah, one of his most underrated films, I would say. Like I love Lost Highway. It's really cool. I like Bill Pullman. He's great. Patricia Arquette as well. She plays 2 characters. Yeah, this is a really weird but cool film, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like I don't know. The story is like all over the place, and I still don't understand. I still don't get it, but it's still pretty cool though. And also it has a great soundtrack. We got like David Bowie, which I'm wearing a Bowie shirt on. Ironically, I am. And also Smashing Pumpkins, Lou Reed, Rammstein, or Ramstein, however you say it. And Marilyn Manson. I think Nine Inch Nails too. Yeah, really cool soundtrack and really cool movie. Highly recommend Lost Highway if you haven't seen it. But yeah, Lost Highway, great film, really weird, but I love it. That's number 6. Number 6. Yeah. So originally, okay, and we're in the top 5 now. Originally, I had Lost Highway at number 5, and I had this one at number 6 because when I was rewatching this movie, I don't know, I wasn't liking it as much, but I think it's the performances that made me move this up ahead of Lost Highway because I love the performances in this movie. 3 performances to be exact. But my number 5 is Wild at Heart. Yes, Wild at Heart. Just such a great love story. The three performances I was talking about were Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern, who have amazing chemistry together in this film, and also Willem Dafoe, who is probably my favorite character in the movie. He plays this really creepy dude named Bobby Peru. He's actually pretty funny though. He's really funny in this movie, and that's another thing. This is David Lynch's funniest film. Like this movie is hilarious, actually. But yeah, it is a weird movie too. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I said that multiple times, but no, yeah, I don't know. It's mostly just those performances that saves it for me because I don't know. They're rewatching it for the ranking. There was some scenes I wasn't really into. Like I don't really like Laura Dern's mom in this movie, who was actually Laura Dern's mom in real life, by the way. But she plays her mom in the movie too. Yeah, I didn't really care for her very much, but but yeah, I mean, she wasn't bad, of course, but yeah, those 3 performances in particular is what saves the film, like I said, and I love Sailor and Lula's relationship. just great. Yeah, probably one of my favorite movie couples, to be honest. Yeah, I love Wild at Heart. Well, I like it a lot. I would probably put it up there in my favorite movies, mostly just for them. So yeah, I do love Wild at Heart, and it is my number 5. Okay, now all right, number 4. Okay, now this one was originally my number 3, but there is an issue that I have with this movie, and some people are probably going to hate me for not putting it in like the top 3 or whatever, and some might even hate me for putting my number 3 over this movie, but it's my list. What can I say? So yeah. So my number 4 is Blue Velvet. Yes. Blue Velvet, this is a lot of people's favorite David Lynch film, and I definitely get it. This is definitely one of his best films, without a doubt. But however, I didn't have this issue until I rewatched it for the ranking. Yeah, there is one big issue I have with this movie, and that's the romance between Kyle MacLachlan and Laura Dern. Yeah, I mean, I like them. I like both of their performances in this movie. They're both really good, and they do have good chemistry whenever they were just friends. But I don't know. Their romance though, like, they start out as friends, but then they start dating. I don't know. I didn't realize it, before, but rewatching this, it felt like it was just rushed. Or no. Well, kind of rushed, but it felt like it just came out of nowhere. Like, it kind of made no sense in some ways. I mean, on paper, I kind of get it, but because they're good friends, but I don't know. Something just felt off about their romance. Like, they just started dating just out of nowhere, and I don't know. It just kind of that's the reason why it pushed it back for me. But that's the only issue I have with the movie. Other than that, this is a masterpiece. Like, again, Kyle MacLachlan and Laura Dern both really good in this movie. Also, of course, Isabella Rossellini as well. Honestly, I felt like she had a better romance with him in this movie than Laura Dern, to be honest. Like, I felt like they had, in terms of romance, they had better chemistry together. But yeah, she's great, and of course, what makes the movie for me is Dennis Hopper as Frank Booth. Yeah, Frank Booth is honestly, I think, my favorite movie villain. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I love Frank Booth. So yeah, favorite movie villain. Sorry, Darth Vader, but but yeah, Frank Booth, like, he is one crazy motherfucker. Like, and he's terrifying, especially on the first watch. Like, whenever I watch this movie now, I just laugh at him because he's actually kind of funny on rewatch. But on first watch, I remember when I was first watching this movie, I was terrified of Frank Booth. But yeah, and Dennis Hopper, his best performance. And what I don't understand is, how was he not nominated for this movie? It said he was nominated for Hoosiers, but he wasn't nominated for this movie for the Oscars. I don't understand that. He should have been nominated for this movie, and he should have won. So yeah. Yeah, amazing performance. Maybe even it's up there in like some of my favorite performances ever, like, along with, like, say, Daniel Day-Lewis from There Will Be Blood, Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver, Joaquin Phoenix and Joker. Like, it's up there in those. I would even say Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad as Walter White, even. But yeah, I love Dennis Hopper in this movie as Frank Booth, and movie itself is just great. It's just that one issue, the romance with Kyle and Laura, that I don't really care for, but the romance, yeah. But still great film, Blue Velvet, and yeah, it's my number 4. All right, no, now we're in the top 3. My number 3, yeah, I'm actually surprised I have this over Blue Velvet, but My number three is a movie I reviewed for the channel. Go check it out if you haven't already. I did it a little. I did it like. Well, I know I did it like last year, or maybe it was. It might have been December 2020. I can't remember for sure when it was. I know it wasn't long after I moved in here, but my number three is, in my opinion, his most underrated film. That is The Straight Story. Yes. And unfortunately, I don't own it because it's a pretty hard movie to find on physical media. I did find a Blu ray on Amazon of it, but it was like a special edition or something, and it was like $50. And I'm like, no, that's way too much. So I don't know. I'm hoping Criterion maybe will release it. I don't know though, because I don't know. It is a Disney movie, and I don't know if Disney will let Criterion release it. So I have no idea, but probably not. But yeah, there's the thing right there. It's a Disney movie. David Lynch directing a G-rated Disney movie, which I don't think should have been G. I think it should have been at least PG. But yeah, The Straight Story. This is a great film. This is a masterpiece, if I'm going to be honest. And it's just about a guy, an old dude, driving a lawnmower from, I forgot where he's from. I think he's going to Wisconsin, I think. But yeah, he's going from another state to going from a state to another state on a really slow lawnmower that's attached to this big ass trailer. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much the movie right there. And you would think a movie like that would be really boring, and I could see it being boring for some people, but for me, I loved it. Even when I watched it, first time and I reviewed it, I loved it, and I think I loved it even more on the second watch. For rewatching it for this ranking, yeah, I love The Straight Story. Also, Richard Farnsworth, his performance as Alvin Straight is really good in this movie. He was even nominated for Best Actor. I think he lost to Kevin Spacey though for American Beauty, which I understand that. But despite Kevin Spacey being Kevin Spacey, but that's beside the point. But anyway, so he is great though. Richard Farnsworth is so good in this movie, and also even Sissy Spacek, who plays his daughter, was also really good in this movie as well. Yeah, it's just a really good film, and it doesn't even feel like a David Lynch film either. But I love it. I love The Straight Story. Hopefully, I can find a copy of it with with a reasonable price, but because I do want to own that movie. But yeah, Straight Story, love it so much. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's on Disney Plus, so yeah. So yeah, The Straight Story is my number three. All right, number two. All right, my number two. I also reviewed this for the channel, and go check it out if you haven't already. Most people would probably put this as their number one, either this or Blue Velvet. But if you know my channel, there's a certain movie. There's a movie. You probably know what my number one is. It's my favorite movie of all time, and I won't reveal it right now, but we'll get to it in a minute. But my number two, though, is probably his best film. I just happen to like my number one better. My number two is Mulholland Drive. I love Mulholland Drive. This is honestly his best film. Despite it not being number one, it is his best film. It's a masterpiece. Man, talk about Oscar nominations. How the fuck did Naomi Watts not get nominated for Best Actress? I do not understand that. That is just bullshit that she didn't. The only nomination this movie got, which is well deserved, but the only nomination it got was David Lynch for Best Director. Which I think he lost to Ron Howard for A Beautiful Mind, but yeah, it should have got Naomi Watts for Best Actress, and it should have possibly got Laura Herring as well. Maybe Best Supporting Actress. Maybe I don't know. I kind of felt like they're both leads, so maybe both of them. I don't know, but for Best Actress, and I think it should have probably got maybe Best Cinematography and Best Screenplay, but original screenplay, but it didn't. So I mean, at least it got one nomination, and it definitely deserved. Yeah, David Lynch definitely deserved that nomination. I mean, he probably should have won, but yeah, whatever. I haven't seen A Beautiful Mind, so I don't know yet. But and you know what? This should have been nominated for Best Picture. I forgot about that. It should have been nominated for Best Picture. But whatever. I think the biggest upset is probably Naomi Watts for not getting Best Actress. That was bullshit. But anyways, okay, I'm sorry for kind of rambling. But Mulholland Drive is an amazing film. I know most people say it's like confusing as fuck, and it definitely was for me the first time I watched it. But I get it now. I actually do understand this movie. Of course, I won't explain it, but yeah, just if you don't understand this movie, like if you've seen it and you don't understand it, go watch some YouTube videos on like on the theory of it or whatever. But yeah, this movie is a masterpiece, and yeah, it's David Lynch's best film, but of course, it's not my number one. It's my number two. My number one, however, you already know it by now, most likely, unless you're new to the channel. But then again, you probably know anyways already if you're keeping up with what's left of his films. My number one favorite David Lynch film is also my favorite movie of all time. And that is his debut, Eraserhead. Yeah, what can I say? I love Eraserhead. This movie changed my life. I still remember the first time I watched it. It was actually the day before my 20th birthday, and I remember that night after watching it, my face was like this the whole time afterwards. I was like, holy shit. Like, I couldn't believe what I just watched. And I was blown away, and I fell in love with it right away. Like, it automatically became my favorite movie of all time. Like, right there, it did. And I remember the next day, which was my birthday, my cousin came over, and we watched it together, and he liked it a lot, too. So, yeah. But this movie, I mean, a lot of people, much like Mulholland Drive, a lot of people would also say that this movie is a mindfuck as well. And yes, it is. But this David Lynch himself, doesn't even want to say what this movie is about. He wants you to have your own interpretation of it. And I have mine. I'm not going to say what it is. I might do a whole video on it in the future. Maybe we'll see about that. I've been thinking about doing that, like explaining my theory on the movie, but I don't know. We'll just see about that. But I love Eraserhead. This is an amazing film, and it is not only my favorite David Lynch movie, but it's my favorite movie of all time. Eraserhead. Also, before I end it, I just want to say shout out to the late great Jack Nance as Henry. He was amazing in this movie. Yeah. Eraserhead, number one. Yeah. All right, there we go. There it is. My ranking for all 10 of David Lynch's films. So, all right, in the comments, give me your ranking for all of his films. And if you haven't seen all of his films, just give me your favorite and least favorite David Lynch films. Also, I forgot to mention this in my Coen Brothers ranking, but if you have any recommendations for other directors you want me to rank, put that down in the comments. I already have on the list, I got Martin Scorsese, Spike Lee, Stanley Kubrick, and I feel like there's another one. Oh yeah, Tim Burton. So yeah, Kubrick, Spike Lee, Tim Burton, and I already forgot the other one. I already forgot. Just go rewind the video if you need to hear it again. But any other director, just put that down in the comments, and I might do it. I probably will. So yeah. All right. So anyways, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and hit the bell. And I'll see you next time. Should be for another review on Monday. So, all right, I'll see you then. Okay. Peace.